Hey everybody, I'm going to assume that I am live. The Facebook is still doing its little gyration before it tells me, yes, indeed, you are live. So, all right, it says I am live, so good. Hey everybody, this is Candace Shalou. I am also known as the Motley Mystic, and this is our Motley Mystic Monday Moment, or Beth told me to say that because, she thinks that's nice. So we have this Monday, this Motley Mystic Monday moment. And the purpose of these videos, it's still Monday, so I'm trying to get in under the wire. Today has been one of those days where, some days you're the windshield and some days you're the bug. Well, I have been the bug all day. So we're getting this under the wire for Monday, so bear with me here. So the purpose of these videos, I'm trying to help you start your week with a new spiritual tool that you can use to deepen your spirituality or renew your connection to source. And if you like these videos, or if you want to join our growing Motley Mystic community, you can subscribe to the blog. There's a link there, motleymystic.substack.com, or you can join the Facebook page. I'll put the link in for that one and I'll share that so it will be easier for you to find. So stick around though. At the end of this video, I've got some exciting news, especially for those who are already subscribing to the Motley Mystic blog over at Substack. So please stick around for the news. There are a lot of happy pastors out there this week because Holy Week and Easter, they're done for another year. And don't get me wrong, some pastors really thrive on the energy of this important time in the Christian calendar. And then there are pastors like me who really dread this time of the year. And I come by my dread honestly because being raised as a Southern Baptist, I was taught that Jesus literally resurrected, that his beaten and abused body was reanimated in some fantastical fashion, and he just stretched and walked out of the tomb to appear to his disciples, and then a few days later, bodily ascend into heaven. But even as a child, that story was a bit outlandish for me. So I've always struggled with this idea, and therefore I struggle as a pastor with how to write sermons this time of the year without offending, too many of my listeners. It's happened. I've had people walk out. It's okay. But I recall many years ago when I was entertaining a lot of doubts about alternative interpretations of Jesus's literal bodily resurrection, and there are a lot out there. I attended a religious conference that was specifically set up for LGBTQ Christians. And in one session, the leader of this group that organized the event, he said, and I quote, "You can't claim to be a Christian if you do not believe in the literal bodily resurrection of Jesus." Whew. I mean, that's a statement that really just made my head spin, and it sort of churned my stomach. I mean, here is the leader of a group of people who have been told repeatedly by mainstream Christianity that they were not true Christians because of something innate within them, because of namely their sexual orientation, their gender identity. And here he was outlining yet another thing that's going to kick you out of the fold. I mean, how ironic. And it just blew my mind. I mean, to be fair to this leader, it was where he was at the time in his faith, and he saw no contradiction in the statement. He really was just restating Christian orthodoxy, which was, of course, what those who excluded LGBTQ people from the flock were also doing. And there's the irony. But we all have these kind of blind spots. His admonition, though, was one of the final straws in my own orthodoxy that it really had been just hanging by a thread anyway. So this year, I decided to go ahead and just cut that cord. Any sort of orthodoxy that I had lingering, it's gone. I gave myself permission to do Holy Week and Easter differently this year, to see it differently. Now, traditionally, this is a time of sorrow. It is a time of sad reflection, a time to think about the sacrifice that Jesus made for humanity's sin by getting himself strung up on a cross as a way to prove that he was the Messiah that was predicted to come to be the sacrificial lamb to redeem the sins of the world. And that was the burden that I had been carrying around all of these years of Holy Weeks and Easters past. But this year I decided I was going to put that down. I decided I was going to tell the truth, that this is not what Holy Week and Easter are about. Easter, as A Course in Miracles says in chapter 20, it is a time of joy. It is not a time of mourning. It is not the celebration of the cost of sin, it says, but of its end, because in reality, that capital R reality, that realm of God where we all truly exist, there's no such thing as sin. We are made of light and joy and peace, and there is only love and innocence at our core. How can you even think that you're a sinner? You're not. You're not made of anything sinful. You are light and joy and peace. That is what abides in all of us. And if this is true, resurrection then is not about some guy reanimating in his dead flesh and getting up and walking around. Resurrection is about how all of us must die to the ego's idea of this world as sick and sinful and sacrificial, and instead arise into a new life as the light and joy and peace that we truly are. Resurrection literally means that the Christ remains alive and well in bodily form right here and right now, because Christ doesn't reanimate dead flesh. Christ instead lives in and through all of us. And if that is true, then that means Christ has risen in body, because Christ is walking around in the form of everyone we see. That guy who just cut you off in traffic, Christ. Yeah. Lady who held the door for you at the bank, Christ. That guy who let you cut in front of him at the grocery store because you had one item and he was stocking up for the apocalypse. Yeah, that was Christ. Amazing. I love St. Patrick's breastplate. If you've never heard this poem, I go and read the whole thing, but this is the part that I have always loved. It goes like this: Christ with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ in me, Christ beneath me, Christ above me, Christ on my right, Christ on my left, Christ when I sit down, Christ when I lie down, Christ when I arise, Christ in the heart of everyone who thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks of me, Christ in every eye that sees me, Christ in every ear that hears me. Oh, friends, this is what resurrection is about. Recognizing the Christ that inhabits every single person you meet this day, every single person you meet any day, including the Christ that stares back at you every day from the mirror. So here's a fun way to practice seeing Christ everywhere you go. I want you, at some point this week, take a trip to Walmart. Doesn't have to be Walmart, but Walmart is actually really fun to do this exercise. So years ago, I hated going to Wally World because, the people, right? I mean, there are the aisle lingerers who are agonizing over a product when you just you see it, you want to grab it and go. And then there are the socializers, haven't seen each other in years, and they're blocking the aisles with their carts. The stalkers are blocking the aisles. The slowpokes have to take in every shelf while blocking the aisle. There are the dawdlers and the crying children and the oddly dressed people and those who actually defy all manner of description. And I would go to Wally World and I would see every single one of them as an obstacle. They were in my way because my time and my mission were far more important than theirs. But one day I decided I was going to go to Walmart and I was going to really see everyone that passed me by. I was going to see Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ to my right and my left, even if Christ was blocking the aisle. Whew. I'm here to tell you what a different experience I had in the store that day. I came out of there in love with everybody I had seen. Instead of seeing obstacles, I saw real live human beings, people who were just living their amazing lives. They had kids and worries and frustrations and desires and joys of their own. I let most of them in line ahead of me just so I could keep watching these amazing beings moving about in time and space. Christ all around me. I experienced this miracle, which the Course says is just a change in perception. Instead of perceiving people as irritants that needed to get the heck out of my way, I saw their divinity. I saw light shining from every single face I encountered. Even if they were rude to me or saw me as an obstacle, I saw them as the light of the world. Can I do this every time I go shopping? Oh, no, of course not. I forget a lot of times that Christ is all around me, but more often than not, I still try to remember to see them as the risen Christ, even if they can't see themselves that way. So I invite you this week, give that a try. Go to the store, be determined to see Christ before you, behind you, to your right, to your left. Smile at everyone, even if they don't smile back or if they look at you like you're crazy. I invite you, make an effort to see the Christ walking around in all of its distressing disguises, as Mother Teresa once said. And when you can begin to see even just a glimmer of divinity within those that you're passing by every day, then you'll understand resurrection is real. It's something everybody can do. It's something you can do every day by emerging from your egoic tomb of fear and self absorption long enough to recognize that Christ is everywhere. So let me know if you try this exercise. Let me know, right? There's comments down below. Feel free to comment. Tell me your experience, because I would like to know if this is something that you enjoyed and something that might help you. Okay, you've waited this long. Now for the big news. Those of you who are paying subscribers to the Motley Mystic Substack blog, you're soon going to be getting an exclusive treat. Drum roll, please. You will get a first look at the book that I'm currently writing. I have a few chapters in the works for a book that is tentatively entitled The Great Wide Open. It's intended to be a primer on how we can keep our hearts open in the world and how we cannot close to anyone or any experience that the world throws at us, because closed is sort of like the default. But I'm going to teach you how to open up. So for those of you who have signed up for the free version of the newsletter, you're still going to get great regular content, maybe even a teaser or two about the book. But if you want to read this while it is being written and you have a chance to give me your feedback, I want to hear from you. Give me suggestions and ideas, and tell me if the book is working for you. And so I want your help to make this the best book ever. So head over to motleymistic.substack.com and subscribe, and I'll be posting my first installment of the book very soon. I appreciate your time tonight. I appreciate your attention. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Motley Mystic Monday moment, or to get your week started. And I will see you again next week. Enjoy your evening.